Oh my God, Annie! Something happened this week at the weekend.
Go on.
To tell you.
Necklace. Go on.
Thank you very much. My son, big son, is reading a book. Viewers, listeners, he's 22 and there is a book being read. Be still, my beating heart.
And that brings us to today's topic. Hello and welcome to Too Young for This, Too Old for That with Anji and Annie. I'm a 24 social media actory person, creative, woo, and Anji.
I'm a healthcare and wellness speaker, presenter and writer, and I'm 54, so there's 30 years between us. And today's topic, we're really going to notice the difference between Gen X and Gen Z.
We're talking all things about the whole rise of analog trends and people removing themselves away from social media, but also the idea of talking to people, strangers. Are we missing out on just good old-fashioned conversation, or are we too busy in our phone watching podcasts like this?
So what have we lost between the generations? But before we do that, a special shout out today to our sponsor,
Mike at Making Digital Real, our amazing editor who edits all our episodes, cuts out all the things we regret saying halfway through. Mike is very kindly sponsoring this episode. So if you are looking for someone, you're self-employed and you need someone to help you with social media, LinkedIn is particularly a strong suit, or you want to have a podcast yourself, Mike is a wonderful, wonderful editor.
Mike Roberts, Making Digital Real. We'll tag him here. But thank you, Mike, for sponsoring this episode and for editing every one of our episodes up till now. So Mike's probably listened to more of us than most people that know us.
He knows so much about us.
Yeah, he's got the outtakes too. Eek! Okay, so 2 things happened this week. One is that our big son was reading a book.
Crazy.
And the other one is that you told me that you were nervous about something and I couldn't quite believe it.
Yeah, is this about me being nervous to speak to a barista? Or yeah, I sometimes when I'm in different parts of London, I don't feel like I'd been in Shoreditch 2 days in a row. I'm a Clapham girly through and through. I get nervous ordering my coffee order because I feel insecure. I practice it in my head. I know this is a normal thing.
No, it's not.
Basically, the crux of this episode is that Anji is very good at talking to people, getting out there and, making friends with literally a lamppost. I'm actually inherently, my doctor said to me, my family doctor, we always have a DMC, shout out to Dr. Jeremy Harris. He says to me, he's like, the thing is about you, Annie, you're very charismatic and extroverted and all of that, but actually deep down in your core, you're very shy. And I've had so many people in my life say this to me who know me very well. They go, underneath it all, you're actually quite a shy person. And I'm kind of a bit like, But as I've got older, I have noticed that before I go to events and things like that, I am in my core a bit nervous about it. Whereas I think you're very...
And you've talked about the nervous thing is a different thing though than the talking.
Yeah.
I feel nervous before I go to something as well, but I still will strike up a conversation with a stranger.
You're so good at it though.
And I've noticed that because we've known each other for nearly a year, so we're coming up to our 1-year anniversary of meeting, that actually, we talked about doing sort of a social, like going out on the street mate type stuff, and we will do at some point when I get her being brave enough to just go up at random strangers and start talking to them, right? He's the actress, so this is what I don't get, because your whole...
And I really want to have it.
Performing and being out there and being on a stage.
And I can present events. Like I've done a bit of presenting recently and that doesn't faze me. Because also, but I think it maybe is because when I'm acting or presenting, it's like people know why you're there. It's like going to the office. I am here to do a job. If I have to lead a meeting, I'm here and people know why. It's like, I think there's a reason for it.
There's a role that you...
Yeah.
So it's not Annie.
Yeah, it's not. No, not at all. It's like on social media. Some of my friends are like, in my videos, they're like, that's not quite your voice. I don't know what it is. But I'm like, yeah, but not in this, actually, my social media reels. But I'm like, yeah, but that's kind of almost, I think, subconsciously deliberate. So that if someone does leave you like a nasty comment or something, you're like, well, it is a bit...
Not me.
It's not... It's me, but it's like a different version of me, a little bit. It's like an extension.
It's interesting. It's interesting because also I see it in the boys This idea of, just go and ask for it, whatever you need, right? There's not enough salt on your food. You need another drink. You want to, someone's got a nice top. Ask them.
I think I'm getting better at it.
Yeah. Why is it so cringe for young people to do that?
Well, my friend Karis, shout out to Karis Murphy, has a new phrase, which is there are worse things in life than being embarrassed. Be embarrassed, girlies. It's okay.
Yeah.
And I am trying to live that. And I think actually being around mates like Karis and things like that, and you have helped me be less self-conscious. I think I got very self-conscious from drama school, not to trauma dump, but I think that did, because you have every ounce of you like torn apart and analysed, and like you would do exercises where someone would look at you and you'd go, you're feeling insecure right now, and you'd go, I'm feeling insecure right now, and apparently it's meant to make you a better actor. Sorry.
But why, hang on, why would that translate into?
Because I think I had 4 years of just completely like having to psychoanalyze every aspect of me.
Okay, let me ask a different question. When you go out for lunch, dinner or whatever with your mates, or you go, do your mates and you talk to strangers?
We try, this is the thing. We actually try to. So I was out with my friends. This is actually, I literally texted Anji yesterday. This is where some of the idea came from. So we were out being the single girlies that we are, and we were like, oh, we'll talk to people at the pub, and we'll make friends. And we went to Henley Festival for a Brown event, and I thought we're going to meet so many interesting people. I'm like,
hashtag handsome rich men.
Ideally,
handsome men.
Ideally,
yeah, and
you just no one talks to people anymore. Well, people just stay in their groups and no one talks. And my friend Karis is so extroverted and so good at talking to anyone. I was out with Karis at the weekend and so with Leonie as well. So good to talking to people. And
it's like young people should talk back, or older people.
Or older people. Like Karis struck up a conversation with someone who was Scottish, and it's just kind of just no one cares. Like no one talks. Even at the pub, everyone stays in their groups. We were at the Sun and Clapham, which is an inherently 20-something-year-old pub. And everyone stays in their little groups apart from that one, overly confident man with his hair gelled back. He goes around chatting up every single girl with a pulse. He was a maniac on the weekend. I was, watch out, lady. Outrageous.
See, on the other hand, I don't recognise that at all, because
what do you...
I fell over last weekend. I fell over on the tube again. I'm quite good at falling over. I was so worried my foot slipped. And this lovely gentleman, came over and he picked me up off the floor of the tray.
That only happens now, you beast.
He was really handsome and really lovely. And I just thought, and then I had a bit of an embarrassment situation, because I was just so embarrassed I'd fallen over. I really wanted to say thank you and ask him, and and he had a great aura and all that stuff. And then he got off the tube. And then later on, randomly, in a random pub in Primrose Hill, there he was. The man that had picked me up. I don't live in Primrose Hill. I was on a tube line I don't go on normally. And there was the man. And so
it's really weird.
I thought, well, you know what? The universe has put him there. I need to go and say thank you for picking me up. And I went over and we just ended up chatting. And he's called Francis, and he's an Arsenal fan. So Francis, if you're out there, maybe late 40s, lovely.
Put this on social media.
Beautiful dreadlocks. Thank you so much again for picking me up. And
we'll sign it. We'll do a reel afterwards looking for Francis. Seriously, we'll make that a reel.
Anyway, so that was a fabulous conversation. And then when I was in Ibiza recently, we just talked to I talked to so many people.
I wish,
we know all the story. We go to a breakfast place after we record it. It's really we now know everyone's story, and I just think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be able to just talk to people, to connect with people. It makes people happy when you talk to them.
You know what? It's that thing I saw on Instagram reel, which is like when you walk away and you just had a great social interaction with a stranger, and you're like, yes, I did that so well. Like someone's like, hey, I do. When someone's like, excuse me, do you know where so-and-so is? I'm like, actually, just down the road over there. Have a lovely day, great dress.
I had a conversation with a lovely Greek lady on the tube this morning about her amazing... Oh my God, Annie, I wish I'd taken a picture of the dress. So that's the next stage for me.
Well, I did have...
Is to go, may I take a picture of your dress? It's so beautiful.
That is good. Because I did have a good interaction on the tube, actually. This is a side note, and then we'll get into the crux of our conversation. I just watched a football on Wednesday. England had just beat... Oh my God, we did well in a match. No, we just lost. And everyone's a bit sad. Argentina.
Annie wore a football jersey, everyone. Do you have a picture of you wearing that football jersey?
I didn't look my best. I'm not going to lie. It was an oversized, slightly odorous.
Annie wore a football kit. I think the world shifted. Something shifted.
I love football, but I fell onto the woman next to me, like, because the tube went like that and I fell. And then she was like, oh my gosh, I'm here. Shout out to Charlotte with this gorgeous 33-year-old, so he's a bit old for me, insurance man, Australian. And then we just chatted with the whole tube journey, exchanged Instagram. She was like, I'll try and set you up with my friend. It's a bit old for me, but just shows. And I walked away and I was like, I've spoken and made friends with a stranger on the tube. And I thought it was so Anji. I thought I would win. I was like, that was so Anji. I've been waiting to tell you. Right.
So I swap numbers with people on the tube all the time. Anyway, so
Going
we
back.
had to though, but one just to finish up on that, I think we had to talk to strangers because we had to ask for directions. We didn't have Google. Do you know what I mean? And so actually, I don't know, or maybe it is just me.
So just going on to the crux of what our podcast is, which is then versus now. So you had to talk to strangers. There was no Google. Annie can use City Mapper whenever and wherever I want. And today on the way here, I couldn't use City Mapper. I had to use the tube maps originally. Craziness. Yeah. And so we've discussed that a little bit more. And then what do you do necessarily when you're bored? Because there's this whole analog trend of people trying to go and like stop being on their phones. My generation, you sent me an article about it. We'll put it here. Are buying burner phones. I have a friend who has that phone.
So i.e. not video phone.
Yeah, and I had a burner phone for a year, the year before we met, right up until I met you and we did the presenting course, because I had a complete like, oh my God, I hate social media, which is so funny because now it's my job. So I do see the merit in it. And also there's these apps where you can make your phone into a burner phone.
What they're called? Wait to find one. We'll put one. I do like that.
Yes,
and I thought they could be a bit more productive.
Yeah. What did you used to do when you were bored? Because I know now our instinct is to doom scroll, go on our phones. We are human at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, but maybe we're not so human. I think the thing that I remember most is if you're on a journey. So if you're on the train or you're on, sitting in the back of the car, you just have to look out the window. Because I can't read in the car, so I would never have read a book. But like if you're on a really, really long journey, can you imagine being on a 12-hour journey, like driving to France or, 4 hours driving to Manchester or 6 hours driving to Cornwall or wherever and not having, and there's only one stereo in the car. So if your dad's listening to the radio or the cricket or whatever, that's it.
And you can't really read in the car journey, can you?
You can't read. You might have had a Walkman at some point, but that took a little bit of time. We didn't have Walkmans for a while and the batteries would run out. So you'd just look out of the window. Can you imagine just looking out the window for like 3 hours?
That's pretty boring. Wouldn't suit my brain as well, because I'm a very if I'm given too much time to think, I would then be like, so I need to be really worried and stressed about this. I need to.
Oh, so it's a diversion.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so that's interesting. And, like when we were bored in the holidays or whatever, I just remember lying on my bed and maybe listening to the radio.
Wow.
Because you didn't have a phone.
Blimey. That's crazy. Because I do adult colouring, but I don't do that forever.
Do you still do it? Really? Yeah. Would you rather do it than have your phone, or would you?
The only thing I'd say is because so much of my work and stuff is on Instagram, I don't actually enjoy scrolling Instagram too much because it's like I do all these reels and stuff for brands, and it's like if I'm on Instagram too much, I'm just actually looking at work really and just checking how's this video done. And I do need to walk away from it. So I do put my phone in the other room a lot of the time.
The other thing that sort of links to is this idea of sort of delayed gratification. And it came up yesterday because my sister was at my mum's and my mum wants to have a bit of a clear out. And all of a sudden on our family WhatsApp group came all these pictures of VCR cassettes, video cassettes. Do you know what they are?
I used to rip them apart, make them handbags here.
Okay. And on the videos that my mum sent, there is the Lendl-Becker final. And also the World Cup final, France-Brazil, I think, or something. And then things like Indiana Jones, right? And this freaked you out when I told you earlier. So we would rip those off the TV. So you have to wait for them to come on, say at Christmas Day or the big event or whatever, and then you would have to record it. And that is the only way you'd be able to watch it again, because it would have already been in the cinema, so it wouldn't have been on the cinema. Obviously, there was no streaming, no pay-per-view, no other way of watching Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom or whichever one it was, unless you'd recorded it, or you'd have to go to the video shop and borrow it and pay to borrow it.
Do you find it weird then that like now when people make videos, it's like I've seen it a lot with wedding videos. We have all these incredible like HD cameras, literally like I've got here and here. Like we've got 3 screens right now on. And then you watch like people do their wedding videos and stuff like that, and they make it almost look like it's on a vintage camera. They make it look a bit like it's
They don't film it straight away.
Well, like they know, but they just like the effect of it looking like in the acting world. There's such a move towards everything's being set in the 90s and movies, because then you don't have the easy fixes of today. So it's more interesting to set things in the 90s, and then they make things where it's like it looks like it's been filmed on like a digicam, and people now carry around digital cameras and stuff like that because they prefer the way it looks.
A bit like the others.
Yes,
seeing shot in that other thing.
Exactly.
So do you think it would have been and the same would have gone for like listening to music. So listening to music, you had to take things off the radio, right? You couldn't just, there were no CDs.
And but it's like when when everyone says you're at a concert and people film the concert, I've stopped doing that now, because I'm also like, if I want to see what it looks like, I can just go on like what the concert experience is. Someone else is going to be filming on YouTube. Yeah. B, why do I pay? I'm never going to watch those concert videos back. I just want to be in the moment, because then you see all these videos of people at concerts and it's like
a CFO, and things like that in FIFA. So question to you, could you cope if I took all your devices away from you for a fortnight or a month, and you couldn't catch up on Love Island? I don't know if you're watching Love Island or not. You couldn't listen to a song that you wanted to. You couldn't.
I'd miss my music.
Dig out an old podcast. You couldn't watch a film or look at a clip. Forget the Instagram, because we'll let you have that for work. But this idea of sort of delayed gratification.
Well, I think it would happen. I'd be okay, because I have done it before. I would be okay. But because I'm not an iPad baby, like I do have, like, I know people who are like so tied to their phones, but I think I've hacked. I was talking about this with my dad, the way I use my phone now and things like that. Is that I love my phone for my music. I love going on my walk and having a podcast. I go on a walk nearly every single evening, and I keep my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I will just walk and listen to music, and I use it to switch off from work and go into unwind time. It's very like important to my sanity. Go.
What would you do if you had to go for a walk without your phone?
I'll be honest though, I just like tracking my steps.
I like tracking your steps. Yeah, but what if you didn't listen to anything? So my newsletter this Sunday, so I have this newsletter that goes to 1,200 people. It's Sunday.
It's very successful.
Thank you. And I wrote about atelic activities. So atelic, ATELIC, a word from Aristotle. And it means doing something just for the sake of doing it alone without looking for an outcome. So a atelic activity would be doing a reel trying to get more followers. Yeah. An atelic activity would be just lying on the grass and looking at the sky, or going for a walk without a goal in mind, I should do that. A place in mind, without listening to a podcast, just for the sheer enjoyment and pleasure of going for the walk.
I should do that. I don't. Do you do that?
I try as much as I can, but once a day. I do it with a cup of tea, because I find that easier to do it, to just sit, to make one cup of tea a day, and just to sit and drink the tea. Yeah. No phone, no radio. I mean, I love all the political podcasts and all that sort of stuff. I love listening to lectures about philosophy. I try and do one cup of tea for 10 minutes, just me and the tea. Or as my friend Pete would say from Bahamas, just being with yourself. Just be with yourself.
It's a bit like what we do on holiday. I feel like lots of people do that on holiday. You walk out in the morning and you're like, you're on holiday and you have your coffee and you're just in the sun and you're like, And that's probably why people look so bloody fantastic on holiday, even though you're probably eating and drinking and, you know, not working out. Everyone comes back and they look amazing. Probably because they're doing more of what you said. You're just lying on the beach and you're just doing things for that.
Yes, so homework for everyone. Oh, we'll come to the homework at the end. But number one so far is going to be go and talk to a stranger every day, because there's always someone that needs to see your smiley face and you might change the course of their day. Number two, 5 minutes of something atelic, ATELIC, where you're just doing it. 5 minutes is nothing, right? We've all got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We've all got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's good for your nervous system. I mean, from a health point of view.
Cortisol.
That's why I recommend it, because it's good to have a reset.
100%.
Right. Question, Annie. Now you're single, back on the dating front.
Yay.
We all know.
I hate dating.
We all know what that's like. Really? But it's just meeting new people.
Well, like, I can't find any people.
Sending on answers on a postcard, listeners.
Seriously, it's just
someone out there in my generation must have a lovely son. But
I'm 20 or 20. A 24 to max 32. I think age limit.
Ooh, I don't want to go back to the age limit conversation. Anyway, right. Imagine having to go on a date, or in the old days when you had to go on a date. I couldn't look them up. Okay, so someone asks you out and you go to meet them, but you know absolutely nothing about them.
I have so many questions about this. First of all, where did you meet people? Second of all, how did you actually like arrange the date? Because there's this whole thing on TikTok where it's like, I'm going on a date at 7 p.m. tonight. Let's see how much you text me in a day. Where girls are then like, where girls are like, oh, it's 1 p.m. He's not text me, confirming the date. And I do think there's like, I get it, but I'm also like, are we just really needy as a generation? Like, if a date's been set, so how would this all happen?
You just met people in a bar.
I was watching
Sex with them.
But like, Sex and the City. Where did Carrie find all these men?
She just chatted to them. Like, so you're in a bar, or you're on the tube, or you're, in the supermarket.
But like, I when I'm in a pub, I just look around and think, God, all these girls are so stunning. And then I feel like a toast. And then I'm like, well, I'm not going to talk to any of the men. I'm just going to let them go chatter for like, like these beautiful girls. And I'll be like, that's nice. Like, I can never start a conversation. And like, unless it was like really like I couldn't help but start the conversation. I don't know. It's just really, I hear how sad it sounds.
I think that is a different topic. And I think that is about, you don't need to offer people, oh no, look at that body language, protection. I think it's more about projection.
Yeah, I know.
It's me who shows. And I think if you stand there like this, no one is going to talk to you, look at you. And I think on the days when I'm particularly happy or I'm more open, and you look and you make eye contact with people, we should do this as a little episode and just see who we can talk to.
Because I on a date, I was on a Hinge date and it was fine, but like it was never gonna progress any further. Like, it was just.
This episode has ended up being Annie's dating episode. It wasn't supposed to be, but it's okay.
I think because I was so relaxed. What I'm trying to say is because I was so relaxed and whatever. I was giving off a great energy, and then this really gorgeous guy. Yeah, he's something when I met you, but the one. So, but I do agree with what you're saying. I do think it's about energy.
And I think, when we're together and we're open, people come and talk to us.
Well, I know people are very good around like people like you, and like that's why I like to this is why I like to surround myself with like people who aren't like, like not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think like if you're naturally can be a bit you need to surround yourself with the opposite. Like
yeah. Hello, your company. And then I think the thing about the meeting is, that's just the hard thing.
What?
Like, you arranged to meet and then you went and you didn't have a phone.
It's like that French guy we spoke about.
The one that got away. The one that got away. Where I'd bottled it and I'd left him hanging somewhere in central London on that 7:30 on a Friday. About 100 years ago. Anyway, seize the day, girls. You never know, or everyone, you never know but also these are sliding doors moments. So
what do you think about the idea of being unreachable? They are now selling retreats across the world where it's like, please sponsor us, send us for a retreat, where you go and you don't have any Wi-Fi signal, and people go and they're like in couples, or they want an eat, pray, love moment, and you switch off, and it's called like a hideaway retreat.
Hideaway retreat or off-grid.
That's it.
Off-grid, because I run retreats,
Yeah.
as you know.
Yeah.
But I don't take people's phones away.
Yeah. Because that might stress them out more, probably.
I feel that people should be able to regulate their own behaviour. And so I recommend them to put their phones away, but I don't take them away from them. I'm actually going to Sweden on Monday for the it's the amazing Shambhala gatherings, which is quite a well-known retreat centre, leading a retreat with my teacher.
I think it's so cool.
Oh, they have a terrible signal.
Is that making you nervous, even though you're running the retreat?
Interesting. I'm nervous. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'll leave my phone in my room.
Yeah.
Everyone that knows me knows where I am. In fact, you all do too.
And it's also what your job is and how it's like.
Me and HR, so that's good. But so if you imagine do the Lewis family have that trackery thing of knowing where everyone is on your phones? Yeah, all of you.
Actually, last night, whenever I'm out, because I half live with my sister Grace in Clapham, she texts me being like, that's 8 p.m. She goes, send me your location. 8 p.m. It's send me your location, and we track each other like all the time. We're always.
Do you not find that intrusive? Because my family, no one tracks each other. Well, one knows. Actually, the boys probably know each other where they are on Snap Maps.
No, I don't use Snapchat. That's you. Yeah,
I probably know where they are on that, but I don't know.
Well, when I was on a date once, I was in Parsons Green. He was awful. I'm okay to say.
But tell everyone.
Well, no, but this is quite funny though. My family were all at my sister's around the corner, and my sister's baited me out, be like, yeah, Annie's on a date. And my dad went, what? And checked Snap Maps, and he went, oh my God, she's in his house. And they were like, what? And they were like, she's obviously been kidnapped and she's in trouble. So they were literally, I checked my phone, like, I was in a bar, but it was in like, above it looked like a house. So then they were all like, Annie, respond to this now. If you're not okay, we'll call the police. Oh my God. Now they had to reboot. I had to go, so sorry, 1 second. I just went to the toilet and I was wrangling him. I was like, guys, I don't care, I'm alive. And they were like, for God's sake, Annie, your father was about to give a proposal to the police. I'm like, oh,
Annie, would you not turn that off?
Oh no, not for a date though. Not for a first date. Oh God, no. Because also, like, I know they've just got my best interests at heart. Like, and also, heavens forbid, it actually is a weird. He wasn't a weirdo. He was just a bit. But like, like you do. Girls, have your Snap Map, have your location on for a first date always.
I don't have my location on
for a first date. You absolutely should. Not for like a.
But I 500 going, and I tell one of my friends who's my spotter, and we know where the other one is, and then we have to send proof of life, but we don't track each other like children. God. Anyway, maybe I should.
I think you should. For a first date, I would. Not if it's like,
okay,
to your boyfriend of like 5 years or girlfriend or whatever,
Yeah, obviously. Okay, and then what about the big one? A life that isn't documented. So I got up to a lot of wild things. I possibly got up to a few wild things when I was younger. But thankfully there is no video or documentary evidence. Whereas everything that you've done is online.
I used to be really anxious about this, even though I've never in my life really done anything that audacious and wild. I used to be really anxious going to parties when I was younger. I used to worry, what if like there's a really unflattering video, or even though I never did anything like crazy, it's not my personality. It used to make me really anxious, and I think put me off a lot of that.
So would you have an agreement with your friends that if you were at a party, nobody would take video?
I think when you're at uni, it's tricky because you're fret that people aren't going to necessarily, you're going to have randomers at a uni house party. Now that I'm like 24 and only hang out with people who are my genuine friends, we would never, film each other having a drink. You would just never do that with my friend. My friends would never. We totally respect each other. To be honest, we're fairly tame people, usually just eating halloumi sticks and having a gin and tonic usually. So there's nothing really to report.
I've seen the boys, friends post stuff.
Yeah, I'd see a lot.
And things like from university and the sports teams and all that sort of thing. Some of it's like, I think it will work future professional life to be coloured by what you were doing.
I'm really happy that I don't like the fact that I was anxious, but I'm glad I've been so cautious, because there's some people I look at, whether even if I don't know them anymore, and just people from years ago at school, and you think, I wouldn't post that. I think my generation is maybe the last 24-year-olds are the last people who are like a bit more aware of it. Whereas I look at when I go back to schools and do talks, and I don't want to be that auntie going, careful of what you post, but you seriously are like, my LinkedIn, even when I teach kids, the parents rightfully stalk my LinkedIn. I'm very public on Instagram, and and I represent brands. And if I had a video of me falling down the road drunk, it's not great, but I think it's really tough to be young. I know everyone gets meh, but tough to be young and going out, because you can't just make a mistake in your 20s and whatever. It's actually that actually could be recorded and put online.
Yeah,
it's not very nice.
Literally everything being documented.
Yeah, it's not
exhausting, surely, like you said about the video and concerts.
Yeah, I also think only thing is, if I was an employer and I saw something from when someone was 18 and the person sat in front of me was 25 and clearly not the same person, I would give grace, because I think you've got to look back and go, oh, as long as it wasn't something really if it was just a silly video, then I'm out, I wouldn't. I think there has to be some sort of being reasonable.
Right. So, quick fire round. Yay. For Amy.
Oh,
how many phone numbers do you know off by heart?
None.
Had it straight up?
None.
Do you know your own?
0798. Yes. I know my sisters. And
I was like a sister. But
no, just Grace.
Just Grace. Okay.
Because I once lost my phone on a date. Oops. Anji, how many phone numbers do you know off by heart? I thought you were going to say about 10. 3? 4. Bingo. 5.
I know my aunties. I know my mum and dad's old landline number.
I know my mum and dad's
old landline number that we don't have anymore.
It's a landline.
I know my ex-husband's number.
Yeah. Father to children. Big sense.
Yeah. And I know one colleague who I always used to work with would know his number off by heart, because we just worked together for all those years. That's it. I'm not sure I could think about it now, but I could probably guess it. That's about it.
My friend
doesn't mind know my Grammy and granddad's old number.
Quite a lot. My friend knows people's numbers off by heart, because he doesn't save their names.
Yeah. Okay. Can you remember a time when did you last write a handwritten letter? Not card, letter. Did you ever? Okay. So I want to write someone a letter. It's going like, dear John. Okay.
Or
what do you write letters? Not anymore, but I have written a lot of letters with a quill and then a thing. Yeah, an ink thing. Oh yeah, candle Shakespeare film.
I think it's quite romantic if someone wrote me a letter.
I write. What would you like? Would you like? I love it.
Oh my God, if someone wrote me a letter and it fell through my door, I think that's so romantic. My friend Emma, she writes letters. Emma writes letters.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay. And if you were in a conversation, you were over dinner and someone was talking about something and there was a fact that needed checking, would you be the person that picks your phone up to check on Google?
Yes, ChatGPT is always it.
Yes.
All right. What would you would?
Yeah, I would, but I did all those years, so that's the difference of having had 30 years, maybe 40 years of not doing those things, right? And it's only in the last,
so like a novelty.
4 years. What now?
Yeah.
I think it's great. I mean, I'm the sort of idiot that would have gone home and looked up the Encyclopedia Britannica, right? So,
I've got a question for you to round this out. Do you think life is better now that we have all of these resources? Overall,
do I have to come up with a yes or no? Because it would I just an honest. I think probably no.
Yeah,
I think probably no. I think it stopped us being, as a teacher and a practitioner of meditation and yoga and, encouraging people to look after their mental and physical well-being, I think this is making it really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
And much harder. And it's stopped us as humans being able to pause, being able to reflect, not being able to have that instant gratification, not, in fact, in a way, smoothing out the individuality.
Yeah. Well, it's like,
I saw someone's dress.
Yeah.
I could have it in my hand by tomorrow because I just take a picture and look at and
Not
never
with friends.
Yeah.
I was just exhausted. When I walk around Clapham, I sometimes think, all these girls are dressing in such a specific way. Am I meant to be dressing like that? No, but like you do, because you see it on Instagram and they look like the Instagram girlies. I nearly bought a bag in Uniqlo that I didn't even like just because I was so programmed from Instagram.
I think what it is on the one hand, it makes you much, much quicker, but on the other hand, it just makes you more exhausted. And I think it's taken away our ability to think for ourselves.
I think there's too much muchness in the world. There's everything. There's like, there's an app for it. There's a this and that.
It's too much muchness. So we started off with what's been lost. We haven't talked about reading at all.
Let's do a really quick. Do people still read? I think reading's coming back.
I've always read, but it's interesting that in my house, at least one other person is reading a book, and for the first time in about 8 years. So I'm very happy if that's the case.
And when I was on the tube today, I had my Kindle and I looked down the tube, and there were 4 other girls all on a Kindle.
Okay. So keep an eye out for that. Tell us what you're reading. Quick, too young for this, too old for that moment this week.
Yeah, hang on. I've literally had mine. I just lost it. You go. Anji, go first. What's your too young, too old moment this week?
Falling down on the tube again. Feeling old.
Yeah, that made you feel young when you were rescued by a man with great aura.
Francis and his aura.
Thanks, Francis.
And
my ooh ah dun dun da da. No.
Okay, Annie might have one this.
No, I actually do. My too young, I think, was actually not necessarily like when we were out in Clapham, I felt like I was actually I didn't necessarily feel too old, but I felt older than a lot emotionally than a lot of people I was in the pub with, because the vibe in the pub, you're with men and stuff like that who are all older than you.
This is for the football.
Yeah, and like when I was in Clapham, and I just felt like people, it was a really weird, like no one was acting necessarily too young or too old. I just felt like it was like this weird hinterland. It was very odd, but it made me feel a bit old. I left and thought, God, I can't wait to be in bed by 11:30. And I got home and I sat on the sofa and I thought, oh yeah,
just too much.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right. Well, thank you very much for that lovely conversation. And
thank you so much for a lovely conversation, as always.
We will see you soon. If you have things that you think we've lost or that we've gained in the gap between 24 and 54, let us know. Thank you to Mike again, and we will see you.
Because in this fast-moving world with technology and social media and things like that, you need a Mike Roberts to help you support with your digital-related work. Thank you.
Thanks very much. See you next time.